Kody West. How you doing, man?
Doing fine, sir. How about yourself?
Oh, dude, I'm doing great. I'm actually really excited because, like I always say, like when people say, like, who's like your favorite artist you found, you're definitely in that conversation every single time.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, like I was the first song I heard Buried Alive. I feel like that was.
Sorry, my main monitor just turned on. I'm gonna move you back over to my other monitor. I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, Buried Alive. We put that out. That was like the first single we released off of the album Circles. If my mind is working right.
Dude, I love that song.
Thank
Like
you.
that will always be like on anything that can hold music from whatever evolves from the iPhone forever. It's definitely one of those songs that I heard and I'm like, dude, this is that sound from like when I was growing up, like the 90s and the 2000s, like where bands had their own sounds and it's just that cool like atmospheric soundscape with like great lyrics and that like went away and like what's crazy is like finding like your music and I'm out here in Delaware, talking to Kody West, which is
That is
that like
nuts. From a kid from from small town Texas. Yeah, that's nuts.
yeah, and dude, I always say like every time somebody in my car or in the car where I'm playing and they it just happened the other day. I'm trying to think. We're leaving an American Aquarium show and a million miles and they were like, "Who's this?" I was, dude, that's Kody West. And they're like, next thing you know, boop, 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 download, 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 download. I'm like, yeah, man. Because my mission is because like there's some like curtain or something going on with Texas that like I feel like you guys just don't break out, which I get torn in Texas. Like it's an entire country itself, how big it is. But with the airwaves, with the internet, it's like, dude, like you have so many good songs. And it's just, it has to be like, because I get frustrated with it. I can't imagine how frustrated you get because it's good. It's
Thank you.
fresh. Dude, I love it. And you're like one of the guys that like your band and like just like Austin Mead and Dylan Wheeler and all those guys. It's just like, dude, it's still out there, but
Yeah.
it just took forever for me to find it. It took TikTok.
Well, thank you, by the way, because the best like form of promotions like word of mouth. So thanks for telling everyone about it. So I appreciate that. But yeah, I think down here in Texas, it's cool because yes, you might not be able to have that breakout, but because like you said, Texas is so big that, and I've said this before, Texas is a great launching pad or a base like starting point for any band because you can go play Houston, Austin, and Dallas all in the same weekend and cover 750 miles. Um, and it's such a big market, and you can stay busy, all up and down I-35 between San Antonio and Dallas. I mean, you can make a living playing all up and down 35. I mean, there are people that play strictly Texas every year and make a really good living doing it. So there is you can definitely get, for lack of better words, stuck down here, but you can get in a cycle down here where you're playing a lot of the same clubs and you're making a good living doing it. But yeah, well, there's definitely something like with the more rock feel that kind of leans itself towards like wanting to reach out outside of Texas. But I've always wanted to be like a band that's just from Texas, and then people like Blue October, they're from San Marcos, Texas. How many people knew Blue October's from Texas? Not a lot of people. Not a lot of Texans know that. But that's kind of what I always have kind of strove to be or strive to be is just like, yeah, we're from Texas, but we also make really good music that associates with people across the country.
Yeah, and and I love how I knew like the Buried Alive and the Falling and all that. And then I remember somebody was like, "You should do this one of Cody," and I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah." And it was totally like had like a bluegrass. I remember you commenting, you're like, "Yeah, you found." you found some of the early ones, and I love how I love like down there the freedom that Texas allows people to have, because you can have, like just a crushing guitar heavy song, and then you can go into a more acoustic focused song where, and break hearts and make people tear up, and you go right back in.
To
You can
something
do it.
heavy. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
love
love
being
it.
able to do that. I feel like I sometimes I struggle with that internally of just like, I'll write one song and then the next song is totally different. And I'll just be like, what am I doing? Why can't I? Us as a band and me as a writer, we're still honing in like, what are we? What kind of defines us as a sound? I mean, we're still figuring that out. We've only been, I mean, for a band, 10 years is a long time, or nine, how long we, 9 years now. Um, but I mean, all your favorite bands, a lot of them have been together for 15 plus years. And so, I mean, there's just, I mean, there's you want to try new stuff, you want to experiment. And then that you always have like a root sound that you can always divert to or go back to. Um, and like Buried Alive and Falling they're probably some of the heavier stuff that I'll ever put out, to be honest. I mean, I've got a couple of really good rock songs that we've recorded that I just haven't put out yet, but I think those are definitely like at the peak of like heaviness for me, for sure, because I love some of my favorite stuff is and you can on both of our, I think, yeah, both of our albums, I like to do like a short song, whether it's like a minute 40 or something like that, because one of my favorite songs is a song called Parachutes by Coldplay, and it was the title track to like one of their first albums. I think it was their second or third album, and it's like a minute 26, but there's something about like realizing that like this song doesn't need to be 3 minutes long. Like
Yeah,
the vibe of it is good enough for a minute and a half. So I enjoy doing nice little folky stuff like that, and then like you said, I enjoy like the big heavy slamming guitars. So yeah, down here, and we're able to not having like being tied to anything like a label or something like that. Definitely gives us the creative freedom for us to be able to, you know, just to kind of put out what we want. Yeah, there's people that can make the music they want, but they can't always put it out because, of reasons. So yeah, I'm very, very fortunate that we're just, that we're from down here and be able to do what we do, for sure.
yeah. I love your point of that, because one of my favorite songs of all time is Pink Floyd Vera. It's probably a minute and a half. It has like no structure. It's just
And that 90 seconds has left what kind of an impact on you? Something that
yeah,
makes you think about it probably once a week, maybe twice a week, but it's still like, dang, that 90 seconds that they did is just insane. So it's I think it's cool when people do stuff like that and they take a chance like that, because there's always going to be the fans that like, oh, I wish this was longer. Why isn't why isn't this longer? But it's just like sometimes it doesn't have to be.
yeah,
Sometimes, I mean, you can replay, you can hit replay.
yeah. Loop it.
uh, but yeah, I enjoy doing stuff like that, and I like finding those because a lot of the times those short songs come from ideas rooted and inspired from other songs. I'll be playing a song and then all of a sudden I'll be playing it some sort of different way and get this other melody idea, and then all of a sudden that turns into something totally different. So yeah, they're always kind of spur of the moment, but seem to be well thought out.
Yeah. It just reminds me. I think it was like a documentary about CBGBs, where like the Ramones came out and played like 40 songs in like 8 minutes, because they have so many like short songs. And it's just like you said, like how many of their songs are that short? And it's just, once you hear it, like it's an earworm. It's embedded in you, especially
Yeah.
if it's catchy. And I do love that. Like, so that's like every Kody West album is gonna have something like that.
If it was up to me, then yeah, then for sure. But yeah, I would love to. I'd love to always have something, something small like that on every album as, track 6 or 7. That always feels like a good spot to put something like that, maybe 8.
Yeah.
Just depends on, but I don't know. Yeah, but as an artist and as a fan of, and as a music listener, I enjoy when my favorite artists do stuff like that. So I try to always think like, what do I like when I look up to like my favorite people, or like what do I want to see? What is something I think is cool, and how can I implement that in my own career and, to my own fans maybe.
Yeah. And with like a short song like that, like when you think like not like I'm a brain surgeon, but like neurologically, like if you're digging something and you're just singing it on stage and you stop, that creates like a friction of,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? And it's like, dude, that was, what are you doing? And it just, you can just shine them on and then be like, oh, if you like that, boom.
Yeah.
You know, so it also like, do you use them as like a tool, like for like live performances?
Yeah, for sure. It's always a good thing to do. Like, and typically what I'll do, like if we're playing a full band set, which is typically like 90 minutes or a little longer depending on how much I talk. And typically in the middle I'll do like an acoustic set. So I'll do like 3 or 4 acoustic songs. Depending on how long my guys want to take a break for. If they're, stuck at the bar getting a drink or in the bathroom or something like that. I'll typically do like three acoustic songs in the middle of a set. And people will typically know because those are most of my short songs like that are acoustic. So when people see me up with my acoustic, they'll ask me to play those, and that's typically a good time to do that. If I can in my head go, what are the lyrics? What are the lyrics? What are the lyrics? Oh yes.
I love how like I was listening to Jared Morris vibe that you were on it, and you said you're just not a talker on the mic.
Not typically. It's kind of weird, and like that's when I really have like a real profound respect for like stand-up comedians because there's nothing else on stage. It's just them, you know what I mean? So like there's been times where I've definitely said stuff in the microphone and like I just look out, there's just zero flat reaction. So I'm just like, oh, I just need to shut up and tune my guitar and play. Hey, y'all do something behind me, you know what I mean? Um, but yeah, I'm not typically a talker, but I mean, and I'm comfortable on stage. It's just, sometimes in between the songs, I just would rather jam out or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, I got you. Now, like seeing as you do acoustic songs that give your band a break, is there any songs that give you a break?
Mm. Yeah, the last song of the set. We typically close our set with Million Miles.
Okay.
So like the first like minute and a half is like me introducing the band. So typically I'm just like kind of walking around on stage, not playing my instrument, just letting them jam out because they do like a jam thing while I that's probably the most I'll talk to the crowd is when I'm introducing the band, from I'll list off bass player, guitarist, and drummer, and then I'll tell them who I am again if no one's been paying attention. But yeah, that's probably the time I get to chill the most. But yeah, there's definitely songs that you can relax more during. Um, a lot of my tougher vocal songs we put towards like I'll do a somewhat tough song, either one or two first songs in the set to I warm up before a show, but probably not as much as I should, admittedly. But yeah, by song 3, 4, and 5, those are probably like the tougher vocal songs. So that's like I know if I can do them early, I can do them, and if we save those towards the end of the set, my voice might get a little raspy or tired or not be able to like hit some things that I normally would if I did them at the beginning of the set. So that's always like in consideration, but that's all that's just like all band stuff. No one in the crowd really ever cares about that.
Yeah, yeah, that's just and you know, like as a musician, like you probably know, like when you're thinking about like your sound and what you guys are doing, and then when you really sit down and you translate it to what the audience is experiencing, it's there's it's so hard to be like, like my guitar sounds good with that 200-pound full stack, you know, but you know, you can get by with this sound. And if you feel like you're not doing good, but you just look out and they're like, dude, we just love you, man. You know, it's do you ever find like that's a hard thing, especially like when like obviously you care how you sound, especially your name's on the marquee, you
Sure.
know, everything. And it's just it's such a hard thing to disconnect of like, man, everybody's having a good time, even though I may not be 100% myself.
Right. Do you know who Wade Bowen is?
Hmm.
I think over the weekend, I'm not sure when this is being released, so this might be a few weeks ago or something like that, for anyone that's listening right now. But Wade did a video of him like in a hotel room playing I don't know if it's a new song or an old song or something like that. It might not even be his song, I don't know. But he was playing a song and it was about like, everyone here at the bar's having a good time. And yeah, I'm here doing my job, but like, I'm the center of the stage. I'm the main guy. I'm singing, but inside, no one's asking me how I'm feeling right now. So that it just kind of reminded me of that. But yeah, I mean, there's times where you know, you're in your head about something, but typically when we're on stage, we try to let everything go and just just be in the moment and just be as present as we can because for that 90 hour and a half or however long we're on stage for is a pretty good break from reality.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have to say, like, I am not a fan of live albums. And Steve was like, you need to listen to Kody West cover Mr. Brightside. And I've like held off on it. And dude, I literally like just listened to it and it's fantastic.
Well, thanks, man.
It
Thank you.
sound it's because it man, there's always it's not it,
And let me tell you, by the time I get, because that was the very last song of that night, my
oh well.
voice was tired.
Dude, it sounded great. It I was like, I know I like a live album, and I'm like, man, I wish I was there. But just the way it was mixed, and obviously the performance was awesome.
Thank
But
you.
the way it was mixed, like it's weird. Like some live album, like especially when people clap, people have terrible rhythm. And, like when people are like, I'm like, no, don't do that. Because when I would be playing with people, I'm like, no, man, if I can hear them, it's gonna throw me off. Like
Sure, yeah, yeah.
it's never like a metronome type like click.
Out
But and
front.
yeah, and then you always hear someone like,
If it is out front, it's a mistake and someone's getting fired.
yeah, but dude, it's I'm excited to listen to more of it. I was like,
Yeah,
man, you know, I gotta because there's just some things that I see and I'm like, man, and I should know better now because you know, like I never listened to like country, and now obviously I found the better form of it, which really helps. But I'm like, I need to like go go against what you know I traditionally don't don't really would go out for because
sure.
that's kind of like what the whole channel was, and it's funny because I was like, when's the last time I did anything on the like content with like Kody West, and I always realized like, it's always weird. It's like the more that I love a band, the more like I just listen to you because I want to. You know what I
Nice.
mean? Like,
Well, thank you. That was a
like
fun experience. The live album was cool. I was definitely like, it's definitely nerve wracking, because you don't want to like mess up at an important time or something like that. But it was really fun. I was really proud of that whole experience. The people that I record with, like in the studio, they're the ones that I had out to capture and record and mix the live stuff. So logistically, we just had to figure out like, okay, what gear do we need to make all that happen. But that was the easy part. We got all that nailed down and uh yeah, we like the only things that I did like on the record after the fact was I just sang harmonies to myself just because I can't do that live.
yeah,
uh, so that was the only thing that I added to the live record. Nothing else was overdubbed. No guitars, no vocals, no drums. It's just just mixed. They just turn things up and down as it needs. But that was the only thing I added after the fact in the studio was just harmonies. But there's I do all my own harmonies on studio tracks, so it just kind of felt it felt good to put those on there, and it felt good to sing those again because you only sing harmonies once while you're making a song because there's no reason for me to sing my own harmonies anywhere else, or I can't do it live. So that was kind of fun revisiting some of that stuff and uh, doing that again.
Yeah, I'm excited to listen to more of it. But yeah, I also want to ask, like, your band, like, has there been any talk of like any type of like documentary being made about Kyan? About
Not that I heard, but I'll film it.
dude, like for the backstory, if anybody doesn't know, because he was very helpful when I first started this channel, and it
Oh,
started.
cool.
Yeah, like we messaged because he did a lot. Obviously, played with you, and he had a bunch of other stuff that he was on bass and produced some stuff. He introduced me to a bunch of other artists, and yeah, he sent me a bunch of stuff. Like I got vinyl from you signed and everything,
Nice.
and for a while, we were going back and forth all the time, and then like it stopped, and I didn't see him on socials anymore, and like, and it was about a year, and he came and it found out he had lost 100% of his hearing.
Hmm.
Now, like when you get that phone call, what was that like a surprise, or did you know it was debilitating?
It was rapid for sure. But yeah, he was definitely like his hearing was going away like within a matter of like I would say like a month or less. I mean weeks. I mean definitely within 2 months. Like it was very drastic. Um, but yeah, it got to the point to where like it just yeah, he definitely had to do something about it. So he went and got just went and got it all checked out and. I don't exactly know, and I don't even know if he really knows exactly the issue, but he had procedures done. He had the cochlear implants installed, um, which I'm very familiar with because the schools I went to it was a big like deaf program, so we had a lot of kids that had cochlear implants growing up in our schools. So he got that and says it. I mean, can pretty much hear as normal. I mean, it's
It's,
insane, the
it's,
technology, and so,
it's
like,
amazing.
his eardrums don't work, so, like, we use in-ear monitors live, on stage, and, if you put in-ears in his ears, it just doesn't do anything because his eardrums just don't work. They won't receive the input. They won't receive the sound, so, um, he, he can still hear with the cochlear, so we put a wedge on, in front of him, a speaker so that he can hear his bass, and then he has a couple of um, sensory monitor. They call them sensory monitoring, I think, is something like what they call it. But he has a thing on his strap on his bass that sits on his back. It's attached to his bass strap. So, but it sits like in the middle of his back, and it's connected to his guitar goes into this little thing, and then it goes out of it, obviously to carry the signal. But that also vibrates. It's like have you ever been like in a car in the back seat and that has a subwoofer and it's just buzzing,
Yeah.
rattling? Does that in this in the same sense on his back. So it kind of vibrates as he's playing. And like when you're playing bass, and people that might not know this, but when you play bass, like if you hit the wrong note on a bass, yes, you hear it, but you also feel it because the bass
Mm,
frequency, like you can feel that you're playing the wrong note because it just doesn't jive with everything else going on. So and then he has like this pad that you just plug it in with an XLR cable or from like a power amp. And then it's like you send like a monitor send to it of like his bass, and you can add like kick drum to it. But it's like a pad you can stand on. It's like 3 by 4, like a big plastic thing. It's pretty durable because my fat self can stand on it and not break it. But you stand on it and you play your bass and it vibrates, and like you can.
mhm.
It's like a big vibration pad, and it's just like it's nuts. It's insane. Um, so he uses those two um those two monitoring systems so he can play along live on stage. But he knows the song so well that, I mean, literally he can play without listening. I mean, it's just, he can yeah, he as long as he knows when we start, then he can play the song just fine. So there's never been like a thought or an issue that, like, oh, we got to find a new bass player, because it's just, that's not any reason to find one. I mean, he can do the job just fine. He's killing it. So I can't I can't praise him high enough, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's incredible. Because I remember somebody did ask him, they were like, "What are you standing on?" And it's cool that there's stuff out there
Hmm.
for
It's
that
not stuff you
reason.
see often. Like, we had to do some research. Like, you go to a band's Instagram and look at all their pictures, and like it's just like, what gear they use. And then, like honestly, like, there's a reggae band stick figure, and their bass player uses this pad. I think that's like Porta and Davies or something like that. I think it's a company out of the UK. But they also make them, like, the seats, like a seat that a drummer will sit on. Those are also plugged in, so whenever they hit their kick drum, it also, like, vibrates their seat. So, yeah, they're also listening with their ears, but it's like it's a very sensory thing that's going on, that they've kind of developed for bass players and drummers.
Yeah, that's like my uncle. He was deaf, and he was a probably one of the best dancers in the family. And it just asked him, he was like, I feel.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, it's amazing what takes over, and what other senses kind of peek through, and your body kind of relies on more when other things go away. But he's doing good, man. He's killing it. He's I would say he's at 100%. I don't know how he feels, but he's definitely doing good enough. He's killing it.
Yeah, dude, somebody definitely should it's an incredible story.
Dude, it really is. We should. I wonder if we can get a sponsorship out of it from, like, his cochlear implant. Not that the rest of us need it, but just like it'd be a great story for, like, them to, like, post about it. Like, here's an instance that where this might not work for everyone, because you know it just might not. Medical, everything's just different for everyone. But here's a scenario where we did this and this and this, and this guy can still play music live on stage. That's some people can't do that, and they can hear just fine.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So
And,
I
and
think
there might
it's real cool.
yeah, and there might be somebody with the same implants that have no idea that there's them type of devices that,
Right.
give you the same in a different way, but the same opportunity to, fulfill your dream. If you want to be a musician,
For sure. And I mean, thank God. I mean, there's just a plethora of all sorts of medical and doctors in Dallas Fort Worth area. But I mean, if I'm sure for someone living somewhere where they might not have access to that this just number of options you can go see, and different doctors and stuff, they might not figure that out. So yeah, it would be cool to try to tell as many people about it as possible.
yeah, dude, absolutely. Because like we all know like the bass player jokes and whatnot. They always get, but he dude, he reached out and
Which
made
they're
sure.
totally not true.
Yeah, that's like we always say. Like the best place to go after a show is Waffle House, because if you sit at the booth, the bass player can't sit with you. It's just so me because like none of the chairs move, which is they always have those things. But he really reached out and was always cool. Like I'll never forget that. Like
Nice. No,
that
he's a
that
he's a he's a good dude, man. Kyan's great.
yeah, it was funny. He was like, how did the vinyl get to you? I was like, man, you know that scene in like Ace Ventura? I was like, he's like, I knew I should have wrapped it in bubble tape. I'm like, dude, it's fine. I appreciate everything, man.
I doubt he got that reference because he doesn't watch very many movies. I don't even know if he knows what an Ace Ventura is.
No, he's
No,
not
dude.
not a movie guy. So like,
This podcast talk about Kyan. He watched Forrest Gump for the first time when he was like 24, and he hated it.
what?
Yeah.
That
Not a movie guy.
man,
If you show him a picture of Matt Damon and you say, "Who is this?" He's not gonna know. We do it all the time. And like, I mean, literally, we'll Brad Pitt, Johnny Depp. He has no idea. It's so hilarious.
Man, you can have a lot of fun with that.
Oh, we do.
is, is there like a like if you're a fan of like Kody West and everything, is there like an inside joke that maybe people wouldn't know that you guys always do, and maybe like you would have to be like a diehard Kody West fan to know like an inside joke? Do you guys have like a running thing?
uh, I'm trying to think of some. uh, I'm sure we do. I'm just not thinking of them. But I mean, yeah, it's always like probably like the acoustic part. You know, yeah, when if I look over on stage, if they're oversized stage, they're always one more. You know, go ahead, yeah, go ahead, bust out one more acoustic song. We're gonna hang out over here. You know, that's always they're always jacking with me on that. But if I'm like, no, this is the last one. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's. But uh, I mean, I'm sure we have more than I'm thinking, but they're probably stuff that should stay in the van. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's something like when I used to like manage a band. I'd be like, if you got something bad to say, if you got something controversial, anything, you do it in the band trailer.
Yeah.
You know, like don't go mouthing off. People were recording everything now, and like once it gets out, like it's out there like forever.
One of my favorite sayings, and I didn't hear this directly from him, but I've just heard that he said it, and I'm sure he heard it from somebody. But Randy Rogers, uh, do you know who Randy Rogers is? Cool. One of his sayings is be great and be gone. Do what you got to do and get out of people's line of sight, so that it just keeps a cleaner image. So that's I always think about that. Like, yeah, after gigs and stuff like that, just be great, be gone. There's no reason to. That's how you get in trouble, hanging out too much.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and unfortunately, just the way how things are now, you can
Everything's
spin some
recorded.
stuff. Yeah,
Everything's recorded. You can't, not there's not a lot of stuff you can hide anymore. So
yeah, yeah. I I miss the times where you could do stuff, and like no face, no case.
sure.
Like,
Yeah, the glove doesn't fit. Yeah.
yeah. uh, but yeah. On a funnier thing, I was thinking like, I know you're a hunter, and in a fun way, if you were to hunt the most dangerous game of them all, the Texas artist, who would be a hunter, is the same tools as you. Who would be a hunter that you wouldn't want to be like your target? Like, I only know through like social media of people posting, their latest trophies and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I wonder if they think about that. Like, if they had, if of all the guys that hunt, who would be like an adversary where you'd be like, this would be a challenge. Do you have any, any idea?
Like if I had to hunt a person,
Like, in a very fun kind of just yeah, without
like
sounding
Hunger Games style.
kind of just like in a non-lethal kind of fun way.
Uh,
Is that a weird question?
I'm trying to understand it.
Like, yeah, like you see like a bunch of like Texas artists are always putting up, they got their like Dylan Wheeler,
Sure.
like hit Tony the Tiger the other day.
Yeah, he got a big old cat.
Yeah, big cat, and it's just like I don't it's like I never really hunted. I was just wondering, like,
Well, you should do a bunch of hunting. You're in Delaware, right?
yeah,
How's the bear population?
oh man, you would have to go. You would have to go in the mountains for some like black bear. And
I've heard it's
whatnot.
crazy there.
Yeah, like oh man, there used to be this party every year, and it'd be a big bonfire, and it was just this huge pot of black bear stew, and you can just fill up whatever containers you want. It was just like,
Trichinosis stew.
yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it got a lot of deer.
For
I,
sure.
I've man, I put those deer whistlers on my car, and I hit even more of them. I used to live by like a
Is that like that's something you put in your vehicle that whistles so deer run away from it?
yeah, mine. Nope, they ran towards it and were like, "Hey, let's investigate." And
I've never even heard of that.
yeah, it's like stuff you put like underneath your car, and it's supposed to keep it. It don't work. But yeah, I lived right by like a nature preserve when I lived.
But I don't. Yeah, I mean, but to answer your question, I don't know who I would hunt, but like my favorite, like we can talk about like my favorite like hunters like that are also artists down here in Texas. Have you ever heard of Colton Moore and the Clever Few?
Oh, dude, I love those guys.
So Colton Moore is like a real deal like outfitter. It's like if you want to hunt something and you definitely want to kill something, call Hunter and or call Colton, and he will put you on some great animals if you can afford it. And it's just like also getting to like where I mean, it ain't no easy task getting to where those animals are. You also have to be able to like physically get there. It's not just like going and sitting in a blind or it's pretty tough stuff. But yeah, Colton Moore's a super big hunter. Obviously Co Wetzel's a big hunter. Parker is a hunter. Yeah, Dylan Wheeler, uh, he gets after it for sure. My favorite hunting though is turkey. Springtime turkey season is like my absolute favorite. We just because I don't know. There's just something about it. It's just so much fun. You're not just sitting there waiting on something to come in to a feeder or come down a path. You're actually like spot stalking. You're making a call. You're listening for the turkey. They could be that's at 3 o'clock that way. Let's start walking that way, and then you call again, and then all of a sudden they're at 9 o'clock. They've totally switched directions on you. So like turkey's like my favorite thing to go hunt for sure. So I'm getting ready for this spring.
Yeah, I play with a guy like he has a song of just pretty much because he's gone for like the last 20 years and he's never got one. He may have got one. I don't know. To me, he will always be a terrible turkey hunter because that's just how you rag on your
Hey,
friend.
it's not easy. That's why they call it hunting, not killing.
Yeah, but yeah, that's it. Yeah, I just never. I I never got into it because, like I said, like I always
It's all,
found it.
but I mean, if you don't have like, I think also it's just like it's not that you wouldn't have ever got into it or people that it's just about if you grow up and no one as a child and no one older than you that you're around like goes and hunts or takes you like yeah you're probably not gonna get into it and at an older age unless like you become friends with people that do it often like I'm sure like in the corporate world there's a lot of people that grow up hunting, and there's a lot of people that don't. And then when they go on some like corporate hunting thing, which that happens a lot here in Texas, these big corporate companies will they'll rent out a ranch for a weekend and invite all their employees to go down and go hunt or something like that. Which is a huge market down here in Texas that people do. But yeah, there's just if you didn't grow up hunting, then it's probably not something that you do often. But and I didn't like do it religiously growing up, but I did it enough during deer season. Our football season always overlapped deer season, so I didn't really on the weekends we were still playing football, so and I didn't really get to go hunt a lot in high school. But middle school we did a lot of hunting, and then after high school, I've definitely picked back up on hunting for sure.
Yeah, and some people just find it very therapeutic,
Hmm.
and I I could see how that would be as well.
As long as
But
you're
yeah,
as long as you're on a space where you're allowed to be,
yeah.
then it's not therapeutic. Then you're stressed out if you're somewhere you're not supposed to be.
Yeah, yeah, that's why a lot of the members of my one band were felons from poaching.
Hey, and those felonies, they don't take those lightly for sure. Those aren't felonies that get
No.
overlooked. If you do anything game warden related or you shoot the wrong animal or you're somewhere where you're not supposed to be, that is big trouble. That it's,
Oh
I'd
yeah,
almost say that's, sometimes you can get more trouble doing that than you can drinking and driving,
yeah,
for
a-
depending on how
absolutely.
you look at that. But I mean, there are people that get in way more trouble for shooting a deer and not registering it or doing something bad or shooting a deer after dark or something like that. That absolutely gets slammed.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to mess with them.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's just like yeah. It's same with like all wild, like fishing and stuff. You just
Mm-hmm.
big no.
Yeah, if something measures in under or over, and you're on a boat, and yeah, they're making you dump everything, and there's been cases. There was like videos recently, or I think it was like a year ago, of these guys at fishing tournaments that were putting lead weights and fish in their bellies to make them heavier so they would win, and they got caught. And I think the game wardens went to their house, took their trucks, took their boats, confiscated every piece of hunting equipment or fishing equipment that they could, even if it was theirs or their kids or their dads or granddads or whatever. They took it all, and you can really put yourself in a bad bind if you do something stupid.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, another uh question I thought was funny is it is the hypothetical if music didn't work and the band had to start a business, do you have any idea what the business would be? Like if you
And we,
can,
and we all had and we were all working
yeah.
as employees under this company. What would we do? Huh. Oh God, that's a good question. I'm trying to think of something all and just get is it just you're talking about just us on the stage or my crew guys as well?
It could be the whole collective. I thought it
Okay.
was an interesting question. It's like,
Hmm. Probably a restaurant.
really?
Oh yeah. Me and Ben would definitely be like head chef and sous chef. Uh Kyan would be like manager and probably floor manager. Colby would be he'd be like I don't know, like head dishwasher or something like that. Um Tyler, he would kill it at whatever he does. And then yeah, dude, for sure, restaurant. For sure. Food
That's
truck,
interesting.
restaurant. Yeah.
That'd be a cool show of like just take a Texas band and have them run a restaurant. See how it
I don't
goes.
know. I don't know. It might be a bad idea, but yeah, I mean, I'd watch the pilot.
Yeah, it's it, it's funny. Like line cooks are crazy. Like you work in a restaurant, like that.
Yeah, I've
If you ever
never
want to
I've
learn how to swear, just work in the kitchen of like a place that gets busy in the weeds.
so I hear, yeah, yeah. I've had a lot of friends that work, food service and stuff like that, and they say the cooks are always like, super vulgar and sometimes nasty towards certain workers. But yeah, I've definitely heard some funny stories in the food industry. But fortunately I've stayed clear.
Yeah, yeah, that big the Kody West kitchen. Now, like speaking of like, is there a skill that like you're passionate outside of music, like
Uh,
a hobby or?
let's see. My most recent hobby has been being a dad, so that's been pretty cool. I wouldn't say like I'm great at it, but I'm learning. But what else? I don't know. I do a lot of like at home music production stuff, and uh, I do a lot of. I mean, but yeah, say I didn't do music, I would definitely like probably do something music production, or I would definitely like work for a band. Like I would love to be like a stage manager for a band, like a huge band or something like that, where it's a lot of shit going on. I feel like that would be cool, but I don't know. Like hell, dude, in the summertime when I'm mowing on my tractor, sometimes I think I could just bale hay all day. And then I think about guys that probably do bale hay all day and they fucking hate it probably. I'm sorry, I don't know if I can cuss or not,
It's
but
fine. Yeah,
uh I don't know. There's probably a lot of stuff I could do, but thank God I'm doing this.
yeah, yeah. Like
Before this, I worked at I was a lab technician at a doctor's office. So like I worked for this doctor, and she made like custom feet orthotics that go in shoes for patients. You know, say if like someone's leg was like 4 inches shorter than their other one, then she would add like a like a like she would take like a shoe, and we would cut the sole off and add a bunch of like foam, like high density foam, and then reapply the sole back onto a shoe, like a Nike tennis shoe or a boot or
Yeah.
whatever. She would do stuff like that. We would make prosthetics for people's arms and legs. So I was like a lab tech at this prosthetics office. That was pretty fun to learn, and just a skill, and just stuff. When you look at someone's legs, it's just like, oh, I used to work on stuff like that. Like, I don't know. It was fun for a while,
Yeah.
until the music, like, until this became more of like okay, I can't really afford to spend 2 or 3 days a week doing that, when I could definitely be working on stuff that actually is lucrative.
Yeah. That has to be a great feeling. Like, especially like if you want to do music, like you have to do music just to like be like happy.
Yeah,
And like that feeling of where like it gets to the point where you're like, I have to 100% of my time and energy has to be, besides like family and that, like has to be towards, you know, like your band, your music, and make it a brand, and just get it out there.
for
Like,
sure. It can be a battle sometimes, and that's kind of where I feel like at times where I've had to learn how to be like a quote unquote boss, or like in charge. Sometimes I feel like I was never meant to be like in charge of something. I'm really good at like taking. I'm really good at like doing what I'm like, not doing what I'm told, but I'm good at following instruction. I'm doing it.
yeah,
I'm good at like you know, just doing things, but I'm not really good at like telling people what to do. Like I've always felt weird when I'm like, "Hey, go do this, go do that." I feel like Borat. He's like, "Hey, go do this, go do that." I always feel like weird, and just like, I like the mentality of just like, I would never ask someone to do something that I wouldn't do,
yeah,
except for like my taxes. But uh yeah, it's been a that of like how to be like a just a person that like focuses solely on music and making music, versus like a person that is like in charge of like a band, and
yeah,
like keeping relationships between everyone good and making sure everyone's happy. It's always like in the back of my head when we're on the road. It's just like, is everyone happy? Is someone not happy? What can I do to help? Or, is it my fault? Or are they just having a weird night? Like, I don't know. It's a lot of balancing, relationships and stuff like that. But I feel like I get a little better at it every year. So
yeah, dude. It's a lot. It's
it
you
can
know,
be, for sure. I finally just got a manager this year. So that's been really nice so far. I mean, since January 1st, and what we're in March right now, or February. I don't even know what month it is, February. But it's been really nice, just like having someone to like help out make plans, and
yeah,
then when you hang up on that phone call, someone else that is also thinking about it and helping, and what's the best case scenario, what can we do to promote this better, how can we, you know I don't know. It's just nice to have another, a group of individuals that you can bounce ideas off of, and other than just, because we still do make a lot of decisions, in band and between us, but having a group of people that can, fight for us also is
yeah,
is nice too. So
yeah. It's nice to like be able to like turn that part of your brain off for a little bit, and not
so
worry
that I
about it.
can focus on, what's the next lyric I want to put in the song, what's the next chord I want to go to, what's the next song, so that I'm not worried about, God, did we upload this next week of show? Is next month's shows and bands in town? Are they on the website? Are we posting enough about, this show or that show? Sometimes, it's nice to not have to think about that kind of stuff, and just worry about like, how am I going to get to this bridge
Yeah,
from the chorus? Yeah, that's a lot easier for me to think about, and I'd rather think about that. But I've been doing this, 7 or 8 years now by myself, so it was a little. I was a little apprehensive on handing over some reins, of a position, that I've had a lot of control over. But I mean, it's not like I still don't have control on it. I just have, someone that also knows how I feel or how I would feel about something or what my decision probably would be. So it's just nice having someone to go to bat for you.
Yeah, and dude, it creates a buffer. You know, you can tell your manager, pull him aside and said, "I want you to tell this guy this."
Yeah.
And when if it happens to be like caught in the sight of the public, they see them doing it, even though they're conveying a message from you. You know,
Yeah.
you can still just
Like there's a lot of stuff like say there's an issue at a venue here in Texas or across the country that we play at often. And maybe I have a relationship with a guy and it's just like, hey, I'm not going to be the one to tell this guy that, hey, we're not doing this tonight. It's just that wasn't agreed upon. Don't
yeah,
try to get us to do something extra that no one signed up for that you're just trying to throw on us. So, yeah, it's nice to have someone else to say, hey, no, that's not happening because it's just not how it works. If that's something that you wanted to do, then we should have talked about that in advance and beforehand. But don't throw this upon someone, you know, like kind of like a flash mob type deal, and because that you're probably going to get what you want, because he doesn't want to look like an asshole or he doesn't want to like come off as a dick or something like that. So yeah, we're gonna get it's nice to have someone else to be like, no, it's not happening. It's
yeah,
this is what you get. This is what you're getting because this is what we do every night. And if this is good, I don't know. Don't get me started.
yeah. It, have Have you had been surprised by something before that it
Oh,
just
sure. I mean, yeah, I feel like every month there's some new venue that's very new to booking bands, or maybe they don't know anything about it or they're just getting into it. So they'll you know, they'll say something and it's just like, "Wait, that's you understand that's not how it works, right?" Like sometimes you have to like kind of hold people's hand through stuff, which is fine. I mean, we don't have a problem doing that. We're very nice and cordial, but I don't know. It's a business when it comes to everything. So I mean, you just gotta pick your battles.
yeah. I I can just remember the one show we did. It was Kentucky Derby weekend, and they said they were going to have like a jockey contest. There was all these girls with the fake horses, and I guess they were gonna just something you know a dance or something, and have people clap and just a little fun contest. And I remember the lady came up to me. She goes, If I told you to play like porn music, do you know what I mean?" And I was like,
Yes, I watch a lot of it. I know
I was
exactly what you're going for, lady.
I
I've
was like,
wanted to do nothing else in my life.
I told her, I said, "Listen, I know absolutely what you want." And I was like, I've been waiting for someone to ask. Like, I had a song called like That Groove. And it's like, so I started playing that, and like you see, like the jockeys lining up, and she's like, "All right, bring out the horny horse." And I was like, "What?" And this dude runs out in this like horse mask and is like grinding up on everybody. I'm like, what? I did not expect this. And I was live at the time, and all the comments were like, "Dude, what is going on? What is going on up there?" I'm like, "I have no idea. I'm just gonna play this wah pedal." I was like, "Man, I didn't see that coming," because it like busted out of the like the side room and came running out, and I was like, "Jesus."
That's crazy. Yeah, now that you say that, that reminds we played some gig and like of course they didn't tell us, but they were like, okay, before y'all show, we're gonna do a wet t-shirt contest on stage. And it's just like, you mean 2.5 feet away from our drum set?
Yeah,
You're gonna have a wet,
pedal
yeah, you're gonna have a wet. No, we're gonna do it on the ground in front of the stage, and because we're not risking our livelihood for Tammy to get her her shirt wet so that Joseph can fucking have a good. I don't know. It's just yeah, there's just little things like that. But yeah, the wet t-shirt contest that was a fun one. They ended up just doing it in front of the stage and not getting our stuff wet, so that worked out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like when I made a video about like people throwing stuff, and I'm like, I don't think people realize like all that like beer slinging, like electronics do not like liquid. And
Yeah.
like
Although our stuff survived a damn tornado, dude. We
like it was like a legit.
Yeah,
I'm trying
like
to remember this.
I can send you pictures like after the fact if we need to, but we played this festival in Oklahoma, and literally sound check looks like the most calm sunny afternoon, and then it hits 4:45 and it just looks like the Wizard of Oz outside, and literally we're on stage getting stuff off, and I guess the county sheriffs and the fair executives, they run over to us. They're like, "Get off the stage," because they're worried about lightning hitting the stage while we're on it. And I just remember this one guy yelling, "Get off the stage! Lightning is hotter than the surface of the sun." It's just like, why are you yelling that? 60 feet across this field, like what? We're getting our guitars. I don't know. It's just very strange. The stuff he decided, like that's a great factoid, sir.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, we had to leave our stuff on stage. We got our guitars off, but like our monitor board, my amp, dude, it was the back of my amp was full of water, and
Mm,
somehow it somehow survived. But yeah, that was not cool. So yeah, some electrics, some electronics, surprisingly, can take some water damage, and it's
yeah.
amazing. But
Yeah. Like I'm trying to like what would I grab first? It would definitely probably be the guitars. Just
yeah,
you know.
because we were all in a guitar vault, so we just rolled it off down the ramp into our trailer. But I definitely should have grabbed my amp. We probably could have gone without that without that shower.
Yeah.
But literally the stage had like, I don't know, the walls of the stage, it's an 18-wheeler bed or trailer that folds out into a stage, and then it has, the back of it and the two sides make up like the three walls. All that was blown over. Part of the stage collapsed, like where all of the backline gear was, like the production company that brings all the stage and the big PA, all of their gear literally fell off the wings. The wings collapsed. The wings are like where everyone keeps like their stuff on the side stages. Those all collapsed. Thank God our monitor board wasn't on the wing. There wasn't enough room, so we were like, it was like on the stage on the deck. So it survived, but it was insane the amount of damage that was caused.
Yeah. And like where was shelter? Was there a place
In
where
our van. They told us to leave. And like we had when we got there, we pulled in, we backed up to the stage. I unhooked my trailer from the van because we're after sound check, we were gonna go to the hotel anyways, and because it was like this was summertime. It was literally like it was probably like 100 degrees outside. It was hot. So like and all the you know amenities were low. So yeah, we just got in the van, and then they were like, "Y'all have to leave. The storm's coming. Y'all got to get away from the stage." And we ended up just driving to this. We're on the way to the hotel, and the storm hits hard, and so we pull off at a like a gas station, get underneath the canopy of the gas station, and we're just sitting there going like, "There's no way our stuff on stage is good right now. There's absolutely no way our stuff's getting ruined." And well, obviously the show got canceled. I think the next night, like Giovanni was gonna play, and they had to cancel their night because the stage basically fell apart. I don't know. It was nuts. It was not a good experience. But thank God that's only happened once.
yeah. See, that's crazy. You have no idea like what you're gonna come back to.
No, no, and like a sound check was nice and sunny. Yeah, it was hot, but
Yeah.
there was no one going like, "Hey, we have a category 900 tornado on the way," or I don't, it was just
Yeah.
insane. It was like no one had any. indication that was coming. That wasn't even like no one from the festival was saying anything. Like you would have thought they'd be looking at the radar. And yeah, we should probably be looking at the radar as well, but it's not our job to make sure that the weather's okay for today. That's
Yeah,
you know,
that's
whatever.
nuts. I couldn't imagine because you fall in love with your stuff. Like you have a sound, and especially when you find your sound, like
And
to
like
have
the,
to
you mean like the like and you find like the gear that helped make your sign, and it's just
yeah,
like, yeah, you don't want to ruin that. You don't want to lose that for sure.
yeah, and you can get like the same amp, and it'll sound
No, you can't.
different.
Not the one I use.
Oh, what do you use? Is it?
It's so you ever heard of matchless amps?
Mm-hmm.
It's a Samson era Chieftain. Uh, so it's like a 1997 matchless Chieftain.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, there's other ones. I mean, you could probably find a couple of them out there, but so what I did is I got the neural quad cortex. Do you know what that is?
yeah,
I took a quad cortex and we modeled my matchless. So I have a digital file of it. So that's what I'm about to switch over to live just for I just feel bad about dragging that amp around the country. I'd rather take a electronic box, that sounds just like it. And if that breaks, I can order another one tomorrow
yeah,
and then upload that file onto it, and then boom, I have my amp again. So that's what I'm gonna start doing live, just so I can keep my amp at home. And you know,
that's it.
maybe in the future, if we get more, if say after every show, I had a guy that his only job was to take care of my amp and make sure it gets packed up nice and neat and doesn't get rattled around every night. Then sure, if I'm Dave Matthews, then yeah, I'm gonna bring my real stuff because someone's gonna care for it every night.
Yeah,
Not that I'm not, but you know what I mean. It's just for sake of touring. It's just it's definitely easier just to run a digital rig.
yeah.
But
It,
I've ran analog the past 6 years, and I'm just now getting into it. But I value my stuff, so I'm just gonna save it and keep it at home.
yeah. So, dude, matchless. They're expensive.
Yeah, they can be for sure,
Yeah, they
but
sound.
it's just a. I've never played an amp that is so good at doing a lot. It can't do everything, but it can do a lot, and and it sounds good across the spectrum. Yeah, it's just it's a great amp. I love it.
Yeah, I got to. It was like one of the first times, like I was going into the studio. Guy he said, "Send me a list of everything you want in the studio." And I was just, I did like the airheads, like outrageous stuff. Like I was like, "There's no way they're gonna find this, that, and this." Like Bogner Uberschalls and Bogner Ecstasies and all this. They showed up with a truck, and everything I had asked for was on that truck. And
Where you were recording?
yeah, we're in Nashville, and they were just like, "Hey, for whatever guitar sound you want, let me know." And they showed up. It had every
So you
single
play
thing I asked for.
you play guitar as well, and you
Hmm.
you you were in what bands were you in?
Nothing big. But probably the biggest name I ever played for was I played guitar for Brian Martin.
Okay.
I don't know if you know Brian, but the rest of the bands, they're just the one band did pretty good. Like we won like a lot of like the state contest and everything, battle of the bands. But that
So
it's
yeah, but
funny.
y'all were out of Nashville at the time. You lived in Nashville.
No, just traveling.
Oh,
We
okay.
had
Y'all were out
like
of Baltimore or
Delaware.
Delaware. Sorry.
Yeah, and our friend had a record deal, and he had time. He said, "Hey, I want to record your EP." I said, "I'll do it for free. Just pay for the engineer." I was like,
Cool.
yeah, let's go."
Nice.
And yeah, they really hooked us up. And Matchless is on there. He showed up with a Matchless.
Nice.
But yeah, that was
Yeah,
the
they're
first
cool,
time. Yeah, they sound great.
and they look good too.
Yeah,
There's the glowing matchless. Bad Cat. I think Bad Cat is also something to do with matchless, maybe as well. I don't know. Someone is probably gonna scream at me through the phone, going, "No, you're wrong."
I know a Bad Cat, the name, but I don't really know anything about them.
They're good amps. They have a similar the logo is it's like a clear logo and like that warm yellow light bulb kind of shines through to illuminate it. It's this similar look, but just different brand.
Yeah. Yeah, I see. Like, I don't ever know, like, when I'm listening to you, what parts you're playing, because like, no, matches is very
Typically, if you're listening with speakers, anything in the right speaker is going to be me.
okay. That's cool. That's cool to
Uh,
know.
typically, because like the way that in the studio, like when we pan guitars, pretty much anything in the left is going to be lead guitar or Ben, and then anything rhythm is typically going to be right. I think that's how we pan it. But I mean, there's also center stuff as well. But if like when you listen to the live stuff, I think that's all pan. So like when you're like say you're watching us live
Hmm.
and you're looking at us, my amp would be on the right side of the stage. So I think the audio is probably my guitar is going to be panned a little bit to the right, just to kind of give it like the experience as if you're looking at the stage. So yeah, when you listen to that live album, anything on the right side guitar wise is going to be me.
Cool. That's cool to know. I should start asking more people
They might not even know, but
that. No, if now is that like you like to know stuff like that?
yeah, that's nerd stuff. Most guys, don't even bother with like trying to learn or understand stuff like that. But yeah, I like to nerd out.
Yeah, dude, it's like I know like Josh Hirado.
hmm
You know what I mean? Like to be able to like it, you can get how many calls? Like, hey man, you want to
So
go out on
he
tour?
he produced Million Miles.
Okay, yeah, I kind of remember hearing that in a
Him and
conversation.
him and Ben Hussey, they were in a band together called Six Market Boulevard.
Mm-hmm.
Um, back in the day, they had a studio together, and yeah, we recorded Higher Ground, our first EP, and then the album Green we did with them too. So yeah, Josh is awesome.
Yeah, it's funny. Is he always sends me messages, but we just never connect because he's on a lot of stuff I listen to, and he's always sending. He's like, man, let's talk about how we can get you recording in stereo. I'm like, all right, let's meet up. And I went to a bunch of shows this year, and
Oh, cool.
I was texting him,
Where
and
did they play at around your area?
uh yeah, they played in Washington D.C., which was like it's not that far. The traffic is terrible. They tell you not to drive there, but
I've only driven there once, and that was for a gig, and yeah, it was.
it's
From what I remember, it was rough.
yeah,
We
yeah.
had just left New York City, so it was just like bad traffic going into more bad traffic.
Yeah. Oh my God. Driving a trailer across the Washington Bridge or driving in New York with a trailer it's a nightmare, especially you're in Times Square.
Literally, us we're in my van, just looking around, just going, "Whoa, like this is nuts." You just hit your horn just cause you just add
Yeah.
to the noise. You just honking your horn for fun. But yeah, driving into New York, especially at nighttime, like the way we did, it was never been there in my life. I've just seen pictures and just seen like it was like driving into the internet.
Yeah.
Everything's a screen. Every building has a screen on the side of it that's a moving billboard. So it's just I don't know. It was insane. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
We were there for like 26 hours or 27 hours. Like we weren't there very long, but enough to walk around and see a little bit of it at least.
Yeah. It's funny is New York is like less than 2 hours away from me. And my buddy was like real excited. He goes, hey man, dude. He goes, did you know New York City is like an hour and 45 minutes away? I was like, yeah, I go there quite a bit. He's like, I thought it was 5 hours away. I'm like, no, dude, like, why don't you try leaving the state every once in a while?
So
But
if you want to go to the city, like, are you driving into the city or like what is your like how are you getting there? Because obviously I know like once you're in the city, driving around and like moving from place to place is probably not ideal because it's like a very like walkable. Everything's pretty walkable.
yeah, I would
But
take
you're
the train.
driving. So you're taking a train from Delaware
Yeah.
to New York. That's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
and then I would just jump on
There's
the
a train
metro.
here in Texas that goes from Dallas to Austin. But if you drive Dallas to Austin on 35, it's like 3.5, 4 hours. It depends on how fast you're driving. But this train takes like 8 hours or 9 hours. But it's like 25 or $30 or whatever. So like people do it, if say if you have a day to kill, it's definitely not your quickest method of transportation, but I've always wanted to ride that train just because I thought it'd be cool just to see like where's this thing go through, and I don't know, it'd just be cool. But taking a train in New York that from Delaware, that seems very New Yorkish.
Yeah, well, I work for the railroad, so I
Oh,
ride for
cool.
free.
You
So,
still you still do that?
hmm
Oh, cool.
yeah, it's just I could see like there's a bunch of I don't know what it is about like doing all these videos, finding like guys like you and like Austin Me and Geo and all like man, they just it's like it's right over Philly because Philly would be like the closest place like I would go, and it
Hmm.
just no one is stopping in Philly
That's
except for like
crazy.
American Aquarium. There's a bunch of venues, and they have like I've seen Tanner Ossery, Muscadine Bloodline, and all,
Mm.
and it's just
Those two guys right there, Gary and Charlie, Muscadine Bloodline. Oh my God, those
they
guys are so good,
yeah.
so good. I did an acoustic show. Um, it was me. It was called what was it called? It was called It was called Mexico, and it was Co Wetzel. He was having like
That's cool.
he was doing like a Mexico trip where he invited me, Reed Southall, and Muscadine Bloodline to come down, and nobody we would do a song swap with them. Nobody wanted to play after Muscadine Bloodline because like they just sound like this angelic choir, just and it's just those two boys, and they sound so good that like anything fall you just don't want to play a song after them because it's just like uh, like there's a scene in Billy Madison, where he's playing the flute and then the other guy's playing the violin. He goes, "He's better." Like that's
Yeah.
literally like when you're playing your song swap with it, it's just like, well, they can just keep going because I'm definitely not going to be able to do anything with that. They're just
Yeah.
so good. I don't know. I love them.
Yeah, I love their sound. I got to see them right before they went on tour with Post Malone, and it was their album release like party,
Yeah.
and they crushed. And
Dude,
because
when I saw that they were doing that, that made me so happy. I was just like, yes, yes. I don't know. I just got so pumped when I saw them doing something like that because like they just deserve to be on a stage that big. They deserve for that many people to listen to them play every night. Like I don't know. It just made me so happy when I saw them have an opportunity like that.
yeah, dude, like it's just the way how their just voices go together.
Hmm.
It's very rare for me to like find a band that like you love each singer the same. You know what I
Yeah, yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
A lot of times you like you'll favor somebody. That's just kind of how like the human condition is. Like you know what you like, and if but it's just like I don't mind who's singing. You know, like they're on point too. And I got to hang out with them a little bit, and
Oh, cool.
we stayed in this the same hotel when at Mile Zero, and I was like, yeah, I'll probably once I saw them play live, I was like, this will probably never happen again. They'll just be so swamped and so, you know, what Randy Rogers was saying, you know, be out. Could
Be great and be
be,
gone. Yeah.
yep, up. That's right. Because yeah, when you get that big, you know, can't just step out and say hi to people. Be like, oh
Yeah.
my god.
No, they're great. I wish them all the success in the world.
Yeah, yeah, it was really cool. They took a we took a picture together, and they like had it on their phone, and I was like, man, I want one too. I was like, hey, could you please send that to me? They're like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, they were really nice. I
Yeah.
didn't, you know, you never know how people are, because like with their social media, it's like really like very music centered. You don't really catch like from the videos that I initially saw them was like personality wise, you don't realize how somebody.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, they're probably. Now that you say it, there's not like a whole lot of like behind the scenes
Yeah,
of stuff with them. But I mean, that's probably a choice by theirs, or like yeah. But they're the sweetest human beings in the world. They're so
yeah,
good. They're great. They're great guys.
yeah. They were uh they were really cool to hang out with, and that was the same time I was hanging out with Red Clay Strays, and I was like, yeah, this will never happen again either. There was a lot of people that like once you see him play live, like you love their record, but it's an entirely different experience. Like when you're just you can listen to an album and be like, this is really, really, really good. I love it. I love it. I love it. But when you see it live, and sometimes you can just like get captivated by it,
Yeah.
and you just know.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to have like the golden ear. Like when you're watching like a band like that, you're just like,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to
When it
cherish
just
it.
yeah, it just hits you, and it's just like, and you just know like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah,
One of my one of the most memorable experiences of that was I was playing a show in Arkansas at this festival called Peacemaker Festival, and it was the lineup. I forget who played before us, but it was me, and then Paul Cawthon, and then it was Co Wetzel, and I was a fan of Paul Cawthon, but I'd never seen him live, and I remember standing on the side of the stage watching him play, and was just like, I was just blown out of the way. I was just like, dude, this is absolutely insane. This is incredible. Every single person playing an instrument on that stage was they were so good. Each of them was probably better than the next guy. You know what I mean? It was just like every single one of them was just so good. Paul was just up there, just the absolute most swag in the world, just owning, just the most confidence. It was, I don't know, it was just so cool to see, because I was just not what I was expecting. I was just expecting him to go out there and just play his songs and do his thing. He just had a whole, like, he just commanded, dude. It was so cool. Yeah, that was like this kind of same instance. I was just like, this is it. This guy, this band. I wish people, when they watched us, thought this. That's always, I still think that. I'm just like, when another band member from another band is standing on the side stage watching us, I want them to go like, damn, that's cool. This is cool. Like, what they're doing is really cool. But
Yeah, you definitely probably have a lot of people like that. Like
that I think that of, oh yeah,
or people that think that of you, because
I
you
potentially that'd be sick. But yeah, I definitely, yeah. My list of people that I look up to is definitely, yeah. I definitely have a list.
yeah. Well, it's like the fans that were like following you around when you were playing to like 20 people, and then it starts getting bigger and bigger, and it's just like, like when you watch it happen, and you're just like at that show, and it's just like a weird feeling, like even though like may not know you personally, like you have to think to yourself, like once you see like your favorite band, like they're gonna make it, you're just like, they're not they're not mine anymore. You know
Oh
what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, 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 yeah. Like, yeah, I definitely know what you mean, for
oh,
sure. Yeah, when you find that thing is just like, oh, this is so good. Like, I want to tell everyone about this, but also at the same time, like, next thing you know, you're gonna look up and this guy's gonna have 1.5 million monthly listeners on Spotify or something like that. It's just
yeah,
like, oh, that was overnight. But I was glad I was there on the ground level. I'm glad I was there, to witness something cool for sure. Yeah, I I enjoy seeing those moments though, because I mean, as an artist, it's gotta be so fulfilling. Like, when you just have like that, when I feel like when you just break through that gate of just like, I don't know, it's just got to be a good feeling for sure.
yeah, yep. It's it is crazy, like just listening to music and like just like following a band, how how like a relationship is like born, but not like in like, it's just a weird thing, like especially like when I find like, take you, for example. Like when I heard that and like I was doing like big numbers, I get like I care. You know what I mean? When I see that, and I'll do like an excerpt of one of your songs because I'll try to keep it like time down is
Sure.
where you know they say they want to be a long form content platform, but
No, people get bored in 3 seconds.
yeah. And so when I try to do like a minute clip or like 45 seconds and it doesn't take off, I'm like, come on, man. Because on my end, like I love like when you guys see like, oh man, 60,000 people. Like at one point, it was like a wildfire.
Uh-huh.
Like 60,000 views in like no time, and that's when I was like, man, yeah, and because it benefits me because the bigger you get, the less I have to drive to see it.
Sure, sure,
Bigger opportunities. That's what I always tell people. I'm like,
sure.
dude, I was like, I wish I could be that tape, like, and it blows people up because like it monetary value for you guys is better. You make more money, more markets, and like I said, like y'all could come up here, and I could follow it. That's how like uh Co doing the what was that damn near normal tour, I believe he called it, and that
Yeah, I think yeah.
yeah with that's I got to see Dylan Wheeler a bunch of times,
Nice.
Trio and Co.
What'd you think about them? About Dylan and Treaty Oak?
Oh, dude, Dylan Wheeler is
He's
one of
got
my
some pipes on him, don't he?
dude. That he's another one where I'm like, come on, man! Like this dude is 100% raw, incredible, and he's a great hype man.
Oh yeah.
He
Oh
he
yeah.
opened up all the shows,
You want to
and
talk about a funny guy off stage? Like he's one of my favorite people to be around off stage, just
dude,
because when you're sitting next to him, like you're just sitting next to him, he's just gonna say something funny, and
yeah,
I don't know, it's just those are the hangs I love. Dylan's a great hang for sure.
dude, I love those guys. I got
His whole band's it's just Dylan's great, but he's got a good crew behind him too, and then that makes it real enjoyable when you go play a show with a band and everyone in their group, everyone's cool, everyone's friends, like
yeah,
that's the fun. Those are the fun shows for sure. When like when your friends are playing before or after you, and that's when it's cool.
yeah. I love those guys. I got to hang out with them a bunch of times, and like you said, like even like Shiloh, their media guy,
Yeah.
awesome, and yeah, like the one of the few people I messaged for Happy New Year's was Brock. Like, yeah, I love those. His dude, it's funny is I was like, let's film some with Dylan, and I was like, just go walk up and say hi. I told my friend, I said, go walk up and say hi to Dylan, and then she goes, Mr. Wheeler, I would like to say hi. And he turned around, he was like, hey, nice to meet you, Kenny Wayne Shepherd. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I didn't get to hang out with any of the Treaty Oak guys. We were supposed to coordinate something, but it didn't happen. No big deal. They rocked. They
Oh yeah.
crushed.
They're
And
good boys. They're good
yeah,
guys.
and I was having a conversation with this guy, and he went on the bus, and I was like, who's that? And they're like, oh, we thought you knew that. That's Co's drummer. I'm like, oh no, I didn't know. I said I probably would have told him how good he played tonight.
Huh.
But yeah, it's funny.
Well, you talk about a Co's drummer. I mean, he comes from the metal world. I'm surprised. You ever heard of a band called Fit for a King?
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah,
was he pretty much started that band. That was a band he started out of Dallas.
yeah, the one venue they played at. I don't know if it was just like some of these, like my buddy was saying, like there's something about the concrete, the old concrete they used from this area that it just has this like I'm probably reconnaissance of just how the weight it just bounces the bass back. And I was kind of like high up.
Up in your area?
Yeah, it
Huh.
was at the I think you pronounce Santander Arena, and it was just like his bass drum just was like and like Mason's bass was like where it makes your like heartbeat along with the music.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
that thump. I love that
So
feeling.
that's what that thing I was telling you about on Kyan's bass strap. That's what it does. It basically it does that like times 10 to him while he's playing, so he can so he can like feel what he's playing, I guess.
Yeah, dude, that's stuff like that's awesome. That's like that. What Sennheiser makes that like metronome or pulses, and you can sync with the whole band.
Yeah, I've seen the we've never tried them out, but I have seen those. Like drummers will put them like on their arms, where they're drumming it. It's constantly pulsing.
Yeah,
Zip, 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 zip.
I like the videos of when their click goes out in their in ears and they have like their tech tapping them. It's
Yeah.
it's super important. Like if everybody else has a click and you don't,
Oh, for sure.
it,
Especially
it
as a drummer. Like I could probably get by without a click in my ears live, but I start a lot of songs on the guitar. So like that's probably the most important. But say we play a gig, and for some reason it just makes sense for us to not get our stuff out and we just need to run wedges like the good old days. What's cool is that my drummer, he can still he can still put ears in and just run lines to him from the house guy, but he can still run click, so the drummer can still be on, but we might not have it. So in that sense, I just tell him just, hit the hi hat, do the hi hat, of the tempo, so I can at least, so we're not just coming in on some random beat or whatever. I can at least, understand what the click is, or what the tempo of the song is while I'm playing the intro or something like that. Because for
yeah.
some reason, I don't know why it turned out this way, but there's a lot of songs where I play the intro, and I have a lead guitarist, and for some reason I'm stuck with the intros,
That's
which is
funny.
fine because I don't need to be playing any solos. People think I'm good at guitar, but I I don't play, so I can't. There's a fine line that I know that I'm not over, that I hug. I hug that line of being great at guitar. I'm just good.
That's funny. It's I, s- I see a lot of people like that where you just know like they don't want to step out the box even though people are like, come on, go, 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 go,
Yeah.
go. It's like,
If I
no.
if I step out of the box, everyone's gonna be like, okay, back to the other guy. Like, have you ever played Guitar Hero where where you start sucking and every ding dong bang boo, everyone's booing? I don't know if you ever played that game,
Yeah.
but if you start sucking at Guitar Hero, the game lets you know.
Yeah. Dude, I can't play that. Like I was at a party. Remember the first time I'd actually played it. People are like, dude, like you said, they're all booing. And I wasn't getting any. And I'm like, this is not how the song goes on guitar. I couldn't get it out of my head. And I'm like, give me a real guitar. I'll play the whole thing. And
Right? Yeah.
they're like, whatever.
Through the fire and flames. Dun, 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 dun.
God, the Dragon Force. Those guys. But yeah. Yeah. Playing.
It's like the OG Polyphia.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Polyphia? Have you seen
Mm-hmm.
that guy? They're from Dallas,
Oh,
at
right.
least the DFW area. Yeah, Tim
Oh,
Tim Hansen or Tim Henson, something like that.
yeah, Henson. Yeah. It's funny. It's like, I love his guitar playing, but if he's in front of like a dark background, it freaks me out because it looks like his head's floating because he
Yeah.
has
Oh yeah.
the neck tattoos.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, he's
And that
all over the
stuff,
place.
like even as a guitarist, like that. Yeah, that stuff is definitely cool. He's playing. It's hard, and it's hard as fuck. I mean, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but there's like and like I'm even like part of like the crew, like not the crew, but I'm even like of like John Bonumasu, fabulous guitar player,
Yeah.
but it can get a little stale because there's no bends, there's no
Yeah.
like he's just note 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 note. There's no
100%.
like, but it takes a very special guitarist to be able to do that. It's a very polished style. I don't know. There's and I'm not claiming to know a lot about guitar or anything like that, but it's just like I love the guitar. I love I love more bluesy stuff. I like it when
Hmm.
like there's a guitarist, Ariel Posen, fabulous instrumentalist, and also a vocalist too. He plays and sings, but is definitely, I mean, known for his playing, and it's just like insane slide guitar. Like I'll shoot you some of his videos. You can just check them out. But yeah, I that's the kind of like guitar playing and style that I really go into. And some people like that real technical stuff. I kind of feel like that kind of guitar playing is uh like I don't want to say classical music because it's not, but it's very composed as if it's classical music. You know what I mean? It's very
Yeah.
technical. It's very musical to the book. There's not a lot of deviation in things. You know, everything's very well, we're in this scale, so these are the notes we're playing, and I don't know. It's just not my forte. I respect it. I love it a lot, but I'm more of a I like it like a Derek Trucks from
Oh yeah.
he's the way that he can play guitar just makes it sing.
Sing.
That's my kind of guitar playing. Gary Clark Jr. type stuff. Those
Yeah.
just real big sounding. I don't know. Even Jack White. I mean, Jack White's a good guitarist. There's a lot of people that make fun of him because he uses like Sears guitars and weird shit like that. But dude's got some crazy tones sometimes.
Yeah. So I went from like, like loving like Buckethead and everything and all like the fancy crazy two hand four finger tapping. And then I was just, getting older. It's like, man, just give me like the Stevie Ray Vaughan and like that
Sure. Another
that
Dallas
feel
guy.
and the bends and like Gary Clark Jr. That's a newer artist to me, and I got to see him live, and I was like, wow, this dude can
Where did you see him
rip
at?
on guitar. I saw him at the Texas Motor Speedway.
Oh, you came down. You were in my neck of the woods for
Hmm.
that.
Yeah, it was funny. Is
I live like
I was
45
backstage.
minutes. So that main highway that it runs alongside or in front of the
Hmm.
speedway. So literally that's like, you go about 45 minutes up that highway and that's where I live.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that was a cool. That was cool. I'm pretty sure his room was like right next to the hotel room we were staying at, and I just remember like we were backstage, and they
Where
came
did
up and they're
y'all
like,
stay? Where did y'all stay at a hotel close by? Or did y'all probably closer to the airport, I would imagine.
believe Courtyard. It had
Is
a
it?
shuttle. It was a fantastic setup.
Oh,
It
okay.
When
They
the
might they
morning.
might have they might have built a couple of hotels close to it. I'm just trying to picture and envision where hotels are around there.
Yeah, I think it was the. It's funny is like I only went down there because Giovanni, we were all hanging out. And he says this is where you have to go. It's not announced yet. You need to go. And I'm like, all right, I'm there, guys. Then they.
Were you there for all the nights? Didn't Zach Bryan played as well, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah,
Cool.
yeah. I didn't realize like I was like pretty much hanging out with his dad. Like I was like, who's this guy in the uh the outfit over here? Because I was hanging out with Tanner Ustry's dad, and we were hanging out, and Dwayne was like, "Hey, come here, come here." I'm like, "Hey, still my guy here. This is the only guy I know." But yeah, that was really cool because they gave me passes and everything, and
Nice.
I got to I got to meet a lot of people,
Cool.
and Talbot was there, and like this was before he had his ankle operated on, and it was nice because like I didn't really know anybody. Like thankfully, like I walked back and there was like Cody Canada and Tanner and Cody's kids, and I was like, oh, thank God, people I know. So I was able to talk and hang out with them, and I got to meet a lot of people. And yeah, it was the weekend Giovanni was getting married because I didn't expect to see like Milton and Jared there, and I come walking around backstage, and I'm like, yeah, what the hell? What happened, man? Like, I'm here because of you guys. You guys aren't playing. And they're like, yeah, he's getting married. And I'm like, all right. Cool. It ended up being a fantastic time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I it is cool because like I get to like really get my Texas music.
Was that your first time down here, or have you been to Texas
That
like
yeah,
previously in your life before?
no, that was the first time.
Oh,
I I,
cool.
I didn't expect it. Like the flight said like 4 hours. It was like 2.5 hours. I was like, did I, like the lady next to me, she goes, "Did I get on the right plane?" And I'm like, "Dude, I,
I
yeah,
hope
like,
so.
yeah, like they scanned the QR code. I was amazed, and even the way back, it was really cool. Like I was like, man, like I could fly out here and fill in for a show. I'm like
For
this,
sure, people do it all the time.
Yeah, I was
That's
like, "Oh."
that's I mean that's I do love being in out of the Dallas Fort Worth area because it is so centrally located. So like I have a gig in May that I have to it's like a private gig. I have to fly out to California. I'm literally flying out that morning and I'm flying back that night. Like
Yeah,
it's because it's my wife's birthday the next day, so I have to fly out that morning. I'm playing the gig. It's like a 45-minute gig. It's crazy, and then I'm flying back. But yeah, just but like I don't know if I could do that if we were living on the East Coast
yeah,
and flying to California and back in the same day. That might be tricky, but being out of the DFW area, there's just you can really get anywhere in the country you need to in a matter of hours for sure.
yeah. And the airport is huge.
Yeah,
That
I
my
guess you
first,
landed at DFW, not Love Field.
yeah, I was.
Okay,
Yeah, Steve was like, "Oh yeah, it's got its own post office." Because I've
post
never,
office, police station.
yeah,
I think it has a hospital, but I know it has its own like fire squad and shit like that. It's crazy.
yeah. So like sometimes I'll just stop at the Philly airport to go to the bathroom because it's like right off the road. Like
Yeah.
that thing. It had like gates to get in and out. I'm like, "Pff,
Although airport bathrooms can be rough.
yeah, that's true.
Everyone's traveling. You
I
don't know
prefer
what.
Air Canada.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. You might
Yeah,
end up
like
upside down. I know it's just Delta.
yeah, well, yeah. It's funny. Like I'll take my motorcycle through the airport to jump the the speed. They got the big speed bumps on it. You
Oh
know?
wow.
Yeah. I probably shouldn't do that. That's it. Probably,
You're not
but
hurting anything. You're not
yeah,
hurting anyone.
there's people would just be like, "What is this
To
idiot
drive
doing?"
through the Dallas airport, there's like a toll road that goes through it. So like you have to drive up to this gate and it opens up and lets you go through and then charges you like $8 by the time you get to the other side.
Oh wow.
So you try to if you're unless you're going to fly out, you don't want to drive through the airport unless you just absolutely have to because yeah, it's gonna charge you.
Yeah, yeah. That's it. That was my first like, when they say everything's bigger in Texas. That was my first like, yep, this is big.
For sure. For sure. Yeah. The thing about Texas is that there's just room to spread out. So it's like you go to a city like Houston, and Houston feels like it has two or three downtowns because there's just like within like I don't know, it just I'm not from Houston, but I've been there, enough over the past, 10 years or so. There's just different parts of Houston where I'm just like, oh, we're going to some town. Where is it? Oh, of course, it's a suburb of Houston. That's why, it's just got so many, areas, and I mean, it's a huge city for sure. And then, I mean, Dallas Fort Worth is definitely not small in any fashion, but like being from Dallas Fort Worth, an hour and a half doesn't seem like very far because it's just like you got to drive to South Fort Worth. Okay, well that's like an hour and a half, or you got to go to Dallas. But like from where I live now, like I live north of Denton, Texas, and North DFW. But like I can be in downtown Dallas in literally like an hour. I mean, if I'm driving the speed limit, if I'm hauling ass, I can be there in like 50 minutes or so. But I mean, you can jump around DFW pretty quickly.
Yeah, yeah. I did. A lot of highways out there. That's what I
A
was
lot,
noticing. I was like,
a lot of toll roads, and like that's why Atlanta's tough because Atlanta has no toll roads, or at least that I found whenever we drive out there. So it's just like 8 lanes all go in the same direction. It's just like bumper to bumper. The Atlanta traffic is nuts. So I'm glad we have toll roads up here for sure.
yeah, keep the congestion down. We're just people
Yeah,
just joyriding, just Sunday drivers.
but
But but yeah, we're coming up on like an hour and 40. I know you
oh
say you went.
wow, okay,
I know you say you went to do like an hour and a half. Is
yeah,
there any?
that's I've had a blast, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, dude, I was excited. Like because I looked at the list. I'm like, oh, Kody West, this gonna be badass, man.
Whenever like I mean, whenever like we release like music in the future and stuff like that, like can I like maybe we, like reach out and I come on here and pop on, we can do like another one and promote stuff. Is that
Oh,
something
dude,
you're
yeah,
into at all?
yeah, yeah. I love that because like,
I didn't know how you do or I didn't know like what you do, like what your like main goal is or whatever, but like yeah, I'd love to come back on, in the next
yeah,
couple months or something like that.
yeah, like especially when people are dropped. Like I don't ever use the story, or I tell people I'm like, dude, if you have anything you want to promote, as long as you didn't release it anywhere else, like I'll upload it. You know,
Cool.
and nobody took me up on it. I was like, wow, I really thought because plus like it takes a lot off of like me because like I try to make like 3 videos a day and like trying to promote somebody else like nobody if people want to hear like what's going on with Kody West, they want to hear it from Kody. They want to hear it from you, not
Sure.
me. Not they're
Well,
like, well, who's this guy? You know?
I see what you mean, but I think there's definitely lanes that you could definitely do that would make. I mean, I mean, yeah, I would love to just just have you like like at least just tell people that we're at least coming out with new music or something
Yeah.
like that. I don't know, just at least, but yeah, I'd love to. We'll keep in touch, man. I'd love to.
Yeah, dude, I am down. That's what I want the channel to do is to
Cool.
help badass musicians like yourself get this stuff out there and make it more popular because it deserves to be heard. I absolutely like love your music. So yeah,
Well, thanks, man.
anything I can do to ever help, you just send a message.
For sure. Well, man, I appreciate you having me on, and thanks for taking the time, and thanks for talking about Kind with me. And that's cool that you know that story, and that's cool that y'all been in touch, man.
Yeah, yeah. It's like an incredible story. It's with a happy end. Like, 'cause, man, I couldn't
Yeah,
imagine.
for sure. The happiest of endings because
Yeah,
we're still rocking out as if nothing ever happened. So
yeah. It's amazing. It's yeah. I wish I had like the words to put like because I know like if I lost like fingers or anything or my hand like I wouldn't. You're taking a part of my soul
mm-hmm,
if I couldn't play,
for sure.
and the take is here, and but it's so glad it's came. We come to a part where we can supplement and
Yeah.
still he can still just be that bad dude on that bass, you know.
Mm-hmm. 100%, man. 100%.
Yeah, I hope somebody picks it up and does like a documentary special on it because it's definitely inspiration.
It's worth other people hearing for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah. Well, once again, thank you for taking your time for coming
Yeah,
on
man.
here.
Thanks for having me on. We'll do it again soon.
Yeah, definitely. Whenever you want, just shoot me a message or Talbell, and we'll make it work.
Sick. Sick, man.
All right, man. Well, you have a good rest of your evening.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Cody.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yep. See you, bud.